Hello, welcome to this Center Code training video talking about inviting your internal team. In this video we're going to cover user import and single account creation. Now this can apply to either your internal group, so maybe in preparation for launching your project and promoting your applicants to full-fledged testers, you want to get your entire support staff in here. If you have a list of their email addresses, then you can very easily import that full list. Now keep in mind that also applies to perhaps testers. If you already have a candidate pool, so a group of users that you know you're going to be including in this test, they're profiled elsewhere or you have direct contact with them in some way, then you can bring them into your project using this method just as well. So in this video we're going to learn how to create single user accounts. Then we're also going to talk about how to import a list of new users into your beta project. And finally we're going to talk about how to bring existing community users into your project as well. We covered a little bit of recruitments and how typical testers and typical applicants are going to get into your community. We covered that in a pre-recruitments resources video earlier, but in this video we're actually going to cover pretty much every other way a user can get into your project. So with regards to the Nighthawk project, this is part of the launch step. So congratulations, you've completed the pre-launch resources and pre-recruitment resources. Your test should be pretty well fleshed out and ready to start accepting actual testers and start obtaining meaningful feedback. So to kick this off, we're going to go ahead and start about adding project user accounts. So like we mentioned before, you can either create these users from scratch or you can include existing community users. Now there's something to be known between active users and inactive users, and that is that basically when you're first importing a list of users or you're first creating your users from scratch, you can either just provide an email address and maybe first name, last name, but once you provide a username and password, you're creating an active account. A lot of times you only have the email address of your list of users. You don't have a password for them or a username for them or something of that nature. So what you'll be doing is you'll be creating inactive accounts. Once the user responds to your invitation, then they'll be directed into creating their own account. And in this video we're actually going to focus primarily on importing a full list directly into the project. So in this case we're going to utilize a list of, say, internal members or support staff, but you might do it for, like we mentioned before, a list of candidates that you already know you're going to be including for your test. The import process works the same either way. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into the Nighthawk project within the Veridian Dynamics community, and we'll be looking right at the Nighthawk homepage. Now from here as a project manager, you have access to the users link in the left hand menu, and we're actually going to access the users link there. So here you're taken to the user management page, and we haven't spent a whole lot of time here, but go ahead and scroll down to recruit, create, or add project users. And here you're given a list of options and ways to bring users into your project. So we talked about recruitments previously. You can actually manage and create recruitments right from this menu. Additionally, you also have the options of creating new users in that middle section or adding existing users in the bottom section. So as you can imagine, you have a create user and import users, and that's either single or bulk, and you have add by name or add via filter, and that is again single or bulk. So in this case we're going to talk about creating a single user account. So to create a single user account, go ahead and click on that tool, and you'll be taken to fill out the first name, last name, give them an email. Notice the activate now, if you check that on, you'll have to provide a username and a password. You can decide to send them an invite wherein you'll choose your email template, which would be like an invitation saying join our project. Click on the link below to go ahead and apply, and then they'll be taken to finalizing the creation of their account. And then the sign up option allows you to choose where they're going to end up with regards to the community. So in this case, if I'm inviting a full list of my internal members, I'll choose a support sign up, and they'll be set as internal members, thereby skipping all the profiling resources. If I wanted to include a list of consumer testers or business testers, I could choose those signups accordingly, and they would be included at the community level under those particular teams. Next, the team access block down there allows you to apply these individual accounts that we're creating, or in this case the single account that we're creating, to a chosen team. So if I want to include this user to the new applicant team, I'll simply check on the new applicant team, and whenever I create this user, that's where they'll end up. Backing out, we're actually going to talk about importing a full list. So in this case I'm going to click on the import list of users, and I'm shown a dialog box here. As you can see, like that blurb says, full name is optional, email is required. Supplying a username and password will activate the user account. So in this case, I have a list of emails that I'm just going to paste in here. You can see you have that full list, and that can be anywhere from 1 to 2,000 users at a time. Scrolling down, take a look at my extra options here. First checkbox there is match existing users by email address. And now since email is the unique identifier for your Connect implementation, having multiples of the same email address is not allowed. As such, whenever you use that checkbox, the system will automatically match an existing account utilizing that email address and send them the invite or include that account in the project instead. The next checkbox, just like with the single user, is the invite box. You can choose an email template to apply to this particular invitation. Clicking on that option allows me to choose from my templates. So in this case, project invitation or new user account created. I'm going to choose account created because this is going to my internal team. And then after I look it over, I'm going to scroll down and submit. So in this case, I have my email template chosen. Again, I'm going to make sure that my match existing emails is turned on, and I'm going to choose a sign up. Then again, that corresponds to where the user ends up in the community level. So as such, this is going to be internal group, so I want to go ahead and do the support sign up. And then with internal members, I'm going to go ahead and choose general support and hit submit. So you can see there, I've officially added all of those user accounts. Now currently they're inactive user accounts, and when those users respond to the emails that I sent them, they'll become active accounts. They'll finish fleshing out their account information. They won't be confronted with any profiling resources because of where I put them at the community level, but then they'll have full access as internal members into my project. The final consideration we need to make as far as creating user accounts or bringing users within our project is, again, I'm going to access the Recruit Creator Add Project Users. I'm looking at the Add by Name and Add Via filter for adding existing users into this project. So as such, if I have a holding team within my community, for example, one that's going to be a Nighthawk participants team or something like that, I can utilize a filter within the community to pull a list of users that then are going to be included in my project. Alternately, I can use Add by Name to add them directly by searching for credential information like their email address or their simple name, something of that nature. So in this case, as a demonstration of Add by Filter, I'm going to choose that option, go ahead and go with the community level, and I'm going to create a new filter. From here, I want to choose Teams, Community Teams, and I'm going to go ahead and scroll through here and pick the appropriate team. In this case, I want to include all my business testers, apply a filter, and click Next. So you can see there we have a list of 20 affected users, and you can skim through these users and make sure they are all the ones that you want. And then from here, you'll choose what team you want them to end up on. So if I want them to go through the application process, I can simply check on for them to be applicants. And then clicking Next will bring them automatically into the project and allow them full access as new applicants. So in this video, we covered creating single user accounts and the considerations you need to make for that particular case. We also talked about importing new accounts within your project, so users that you're inviting that aren't currently existing users. And finally, we talked about including existing community users into your beta project. Of course, we have more videos coming up corresponding to the launch step and finalizing including your users within your project, so stay tuned.